What excites me the most is that technology in general is always evolving. So there's always something new to learn or something new to be excited about. Right now, it's AI, and I'm curious what the future will bring, but I'm very optimistic it won't replace software engineers because AI just doesn't have the human aspect like soft skills and being able to understand what the client needs or what the product manager needs. So you need to outhuman the AI to stay ahead.
Welcome to the IT Career Energizer podcast. I'm your host, Phil Burgess. This is the fourth in a series of daily episodes, and my guest on today's show is Vanessa Vun. Vanessa is a front-end engineer at SciShield. As you'll hear in this episode, Vanessa is in the early stages of her tech career, having transitioned into tech after realizing that she felt unfulfilled in her old career. I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to Vanessa's story and what she has learned from a career transition into tech. Vanessa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. What I'd like to do is maybe start by asking you to maybe give us an insight into what you're currently working on and what you're doing, and then maybe how you got into tech, because I understand that's reasonably recently.
Yes, definitely. To start, I'm currently a front end engineer at SciShield, which is a safety compliant platform to ensure that laboratories stay safe. And I was formerly a laboratory scientist in healthcare and biotech before switching over to tech last year. So the fact that my work now is related to my background has really helped me transition into tech from my previous work.
How did that really come about? So obviously, you obviously been in that career for quite a while. Why did you decide to transition?
So I learned about coding back in middle school. It was an arts and technology middle school in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I think the fact that there's a middle school that teaches you how to code seems like a normal thing back then. But I picked up C++ as my first language, and I enjoyed learning it. But when I got into high school, I started having self doubt of my own ability to code well. In fact, I was like one of the two girls in the class in coding. And so when I noticed that the other girl was excelling and understanding coding way faster than me, I started doubting myself like, did I belong in that computer science space? And at some point, I quit because I had a biology teacher who saw my handwriting and thought like, "Oh, you should be a doctor." So I was influenced to go into the pre-med route, and that's what I went with in college. And also, my family wanted a doctor in a family, so I said, "Okay, why not? I'll give it a go." But I did pre med in college and graduated with a biology degree. But in the end, I didn't want to be a doctor, but I found the laboratory route into healthcare. So that's what I went with.
Right. Okay. And then obviously, you must have gone back to thinking about technology and becoming a front end developer or an engineer.
hmm
So, why did that come about? Was something particularly that happened, or did you just feel you wanted to do that? It was a change you wanted to make.
Yeah. About 2 years in being a lab scientist, I became really bored. It's a very stable career, but unfortunately, because it's so stable, there's not a lot of new things or new technologies to learn. And that's when I started thinking, okay, what's next? What can I learn next? And I actually picked up um, going into a graduate program for healthcare management because I thought that was the next step. So I eventually got into the master's program and finished, and I worked my way up to becoming a lead scientist. But there, once I was there, I also felt bored and not challenged enough. And then I decided to think about what uh, gave me joy when I was throughout my childhood. Like I wanted to do something artsy because in throughout middle school and high school, I was taking a lot of art related classes. I was doing 3D animation, and in college, I did graphics design. So I really enjoyed the art and visual aspect of that. And I wanted that back in my life again because being a scientist, you don't have a lot of chance to create something artistic because you're bound to a lot of rules and regulations in the healthcare and biotech industry. So I really felt like I was chained and I wanted to break out of that. And that's why I
Yeah.
decided to look into coding again because it has that front end development aspect um, and that really appealed to me.
Right. Okay. So that creativity aspect to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So, Vanessa, can you maybe give us a career tip? One that the audience may not be aware of and perhaps should be?
My top career tip for me is to test out the waters before diving into something completely new, especially with career shifts. Before I dove into changing my career, I tested out to see if I really like coding. So I did coding about maybe during nights and weekends for about 3 months. And at the end of the 3 month um, trial sessions or trial period, I decided, okay, I still enjoy this and I think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life or as my next career path. So testing out the waters before diving in fully is something I suggest doing before doing a huge career shift.
Yeah. So actually, in terms of time, how long did you spend doing that?
So when I dove in completely in learning how to code or for the front end development portion, I gave myself, it's a self taught journey. So it took me 6 months to do self studying and learning the front end and some back end. But to do the whole career shift, it took over a year, maybe a year and 2 months before I got my first job.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's a good way of doing it, and I think you've got to be patient
Hmm.
and understand that it will take time. It's not something you can just do overnight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Vanessa, can you maybe tell us about your worst career moment and what you learned from that experience?
I thought of this question before, and actually, I don't have the worst IT career moment yet since I'm still early into the tech career. But I would say my worst story so far is just breaking into tech or have going through um, multiple interviews at the same time, and the whole process of switching is probably like the hardest career moment into tech because there's just a large barrier to entry. Especially, you don't know if you need to do leak code for a certain company. You don't know how much trivia questions you need to memorize when you're going for a technical interview. So I think uh, the transition is the hardest part in my IT career.
Yeah, that's a good answer. In terms of your own experience of that process, do you think it was worthwhile? Are you happy that you did it?
Yes, definitely. I It turns out that I really enjoy leak code. It feels like brain teasers or puzzles to solve. So I didn't have a lot of issues learning how to do leak code or learning the algorithms for technical interviews. Um, but through all that experience, I know how to prepare for future technical interviews if I were to look for another job.
Yes, exactly. And Vanessa, I know you said you're early in your career, but do you have a highlight so far?
Yes, actually, recently I was put on one big feature project at work, and I single handedly did it all. Like, I used my soft skills and project management skills I picked up when I was a lead scientist before. So I'm able to manage timelines, manage expectations uh, with the project team and also the managers in my team. So me being able to handle that big project and deliver the feature after some maybe negotiations was my biggest highlight or achievement for me. And I feel really proud.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Vanessa, can you tell us what excites you about the future of careers in IT?
What excites me the most is that technology in general is always evolving. So there's always something new to learn or something new to be excited about. The unknown in what those changes might be excite me a lot. And right now it's AI, and I'm curious what the future will bring. But I'm very optimistic it won't replace software engineers, just from what I'm seeing so far, because AI just doesn't have the human aspect like soft skills and being able to understand what the client needs or what the product manager needs. So you need to outhuman the AI to stay ahead. And this part of the unknown just excites me in general. And this is why I chose the career in tech.
I love the phrase "out human the AI." That's
Hmm.
great. So, yeah, I think that's an ideal way of putting it as well. I think that there's always going to be that human element, isn't there? That
Hmm.
that supersedes almost anything that's AI produced. So that's good to know. Just a quick interruption to remind you to follow or subscribe to the show in your podcast app. Every download and listen improves the show's discoverability. By subscribing and downloading, you'll be helping more people to develop successful careers in tech. And my thanks to you for being a listener. If you have any suggestions about things you'd like covered in the show, or potential guests, why not leave a comment or review? You may even get a shout out in a subsequent episode. We're going to go into the reveal round now. We're going to find out a little bit more about you and the way you think. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
So we've touched on this earlier, but it'd be good to understand what really attracted you to a career in IT.
As I mentioned earlier, I really like the visual and creative aspect of front end development. And I mentioned before, I first started learning C++, and through that, I learned how to make art with just code. And in high school, I did 3D animation and graphics design. So the combination of art technology just excites me, and that's what I love about front end development.
What is the best career advice you've ever received?
During my transition, there was a mentor who asked me, "Are you a developer and not just a scientist doing code as a hobby?" So asking me like, "Who am I in career wise?" just gave me a mental mindset shift. Um, and that's how I was able to change my resume with that in mind, that I am a developer and not just a scientist doing code as a hobby. And one of the metrics I use actually through LinkedIn is the search analytics on how you are found for. And my goal at that time was to change from lab scientist to developer or front end engineer. And seeing that change over time um, was just really amazing to me, because it means that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a mental shift, wasn't it? Presumably
Hmm.
about how you think about yourself.
Hmm.
And what is the worst career advice you've ever received?
I don't remember any of the worst advice, but I do remember when I feel bad when I hear maybe harsh advice. And um, I one time I remember during my transition, I got free feedback on my resume, um, and a lot of the feedback was really harsh, and that harsh criticism of my resume led me to hire a legit career coach to help me edit my resume better. So I don't exactly remember bad advice because I just delete it from my memory quickly, but I go straight to solving the issue, or at least I'd help address the feeling I was having, which is to just hire someone who can give more constructive feedback that isn't harsh at all.
And if you were to begin your career again in today's world, what would you do?
I would still do the same thing. So my career transition was through self-taught development. And when I first started, I had the option to either go through a coding boot camp or do it from scratch through self-taught development. And with my personality and my tendency to do things myself, I would still go through the self taught route, even though it's the hardest. But to me, I find it more fun. And also, I get to save some money and not have to go through a coding boot camp.
Yeah. And what career objectives are you currently focusing on?
Right. When I first started my role as a front end engineer, my manager asked me, like, what is your 5-year goal? And I ended up with just wanting to be a front end specialist. I want to be really good at it, gain more and more knowledge, and have a lot of skills just so I'm not replaceable as a front end specialist. So I feel like there's a lot of full stack developers, but I know everyone tends to lean one way or the other. So I lean towards the front end and I want to be the front end specialist.
And what's the number one non technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
I would say being really communicative. You want to respect the stakeholders' time or manage expectations because you're working in a lot of projects with multiple people, and having good communication really elevates you above others when you constantly give communications and updates and not let anyone feel like they're lost. And having someone in the same page as you just makes the whole project go smoother. So
It
good
does,
communication,
exactly.
right?
And what do you do to keep your own career energized?
For me, is to have outside hobbies. I want to be able to step away from the computer on weekends or at nights. I actually got an okay from my manager to enhance my skills within work hours. So that having that option to learn while working is just awesome, just because that would give me more time outside of work to pursue my own hobbies and get better in other ways and stay healthy as well.
So, just taking that forward, what sort of hobbies do you do away from technology?
Right. I really enjoy rock climbing. So I do rock climbing indoors and outdoors, and I've been doing it for 8 years now. With that, I also enjoy weightlifting, and also doing do it yourself projects. Like I built myself a laundry cabinet just not too long
Right.
ago. So that was a hard project, but it just keeps me excited. I love building, and it kind of makes sense. I build outside of work, but I also build
Yeah,
for work too.
it does, exactly, yes. And Vanessa, can you share with us a parting piece of career advice?
Sure. My best career advice would be is career switching is a marathon, not a sprint. You can watch all the social media content out there from someone who switched within like 2 months or 3 months, but that is not the reality. So have a mindset that is equal to doing a marathon. So you need to build your resilience. You got to have compassion for yourself, add some planning, and schedule some rest because we're human beings. We need some rest.
Yeah, there's a lot of good advice in there, definitely.
Thank you.
And Vanessa, how can we find out more about you and connect with you?
Yeah, people can connect with me through my LinkedIn. So it's just my first and last name. If you want to look for me through a URL or just search for my name.
Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you. It's great to chat with you too.
I'd like to thank Vanessa once again for being a guest on the podcast and to you for listening in to our conversation. Please join me again tomorrow for another episode.